Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to welcome you to a special edition of Wrestling with Egos. It is 4th of July weekend, and two of you boys are here. Over in the other panel, we've got the we've got the AEW assassin over there in the other panel. RJ is here, and the intellectual savior of the wrestling masses, your boy, Brian, is here. In absentia this week is Patrick, but we're thinking of you, buddy. And we're going to knock out some content for you today. First things first, RJ, we want to wish a happy birthday yesterday to the one and only Bret Hitman Hart. We could go hours and hours talking about his accolades. You may have said this before on the show, favorite Bret Hart match, if you were going to pick one.
I mean, I guess because I don't like him, I'll say the Montreal Screwjob.
That's fair. For me, I actually watched this morning before I went into work today. I queued up the match with Stone Cold Steve Austin from Survivor Series 96, where he put the $1 Million Dream on Bret Hart, and Hart kicked out of the corner and rolled him up for a pinfall in Madison Square Garden, no less. So that was pretty cool. So happy birthday to the Hitman.
Sure.
But the reason we are convening here this weekend on this glorious of occasions, very recently, a certain fresh young promotion, which RJ is rocking the hat for and has the title belt swag up above his head, passed its 1-year anniversary of sorts. And the folks at WrestleTalk put out a list of their top 10 AEW matches to this point. And I thought it would be a fun exercise to go through that list with the AEW assassin and get his real-time reaction to where people are seated, fond memories of these particular matches. And another spoiler alert, your boy actually has seen nine of these matches. So he can actually talk at length about some of them, as opposed to just nodding, going, when Patrick and him talk about it. So, RJ, are you excited to dive in and do this?
I'm very excited to dive in and do this. I when you told me that you had found that match, that list, I told you that I would refrain looking at it to get my real-time reaction when we went over it on video. I have created a top 10 list of my own. Just off the top of my head on my couch, I came up with what I think are the 10 best matches in the first year of AEW, and I'm very interested to see the correlation between the two lists.
Okay.
I would imagine one is the same on both of them.
Okay, we'll see how much in lockstep with this promotion you actually are. So we will start off at number 10. The entry comes from Fyter Fest, and it's Cody versus Darby Allin.
Oh my God. I'm not going to show you my paper, but that is my number 10 match. I'll show you after we're done. That is my number 10 match. Cody versus Darby Allin 1 at Fyter Fest. Right there.
Okay. We've talked a lot about Darby Allin on this show. What did this match show you about how much of a player he can be in the promotion going forward? The fact that he was in there with the guy with the stature of Cody.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's everything. It showed everything. The kid he's fearless. Like I had seen him a little bit on the indies before he came to AEW, but didn't know a whole lot about Darby Allin. And after that particular match, we all knew a whole hell of a lot about Darby Allin. That kid can go, and I think his vignettes recently are also showing his fearless side. Darby he's a monster. He's a superstar right now. I don't want to call him a future superstar, but he's a future top guy. Darby's amazing.
He's one of the guys I seek out. Like, if I'm watching AEW program and I know Darby's coming up, I'm like, okay, I want to watch this match or I want to watch this promo. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, all you need to know is Darby Allin comes out at the beginning of this match with a body bag with Cody's name on it and 1-1, meaning I'm going to give you your first loss in AEW. Didn't happen, spoiler alert, but
1-0-1.
Yeah. But to be able to, bring the fight to a guy like Cody Rhodes, who's the boss, essentially, showed me volumes too.
Absolutely. And the finish to that match is amazing.
Yes. I mean, it's a match that also holds up to repeated viewing, which I think we can say about a lot of the matches on this list. Number nine, from the February 12th, 2020.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
Riho versus Nyla Rose 2.
Oh. No, that's actually not on my list.
Not on your list at all?
Not on my list at all. I do have a Dynamite match from February on my list, but it's not that. Okay. Yeah. I did that one. I thought about, decided to not put it on my list.
Okay. And full disclosure, that's the only match I did not watch of this list. I found time for all the other ones. I just ran out of time really before we were putting the show together to see it. We've talked at length about the steps AEW is taking to represent their women wrestlers, and that's the one area that they're kind of maybe behind a little bit on. And injuries haven't helped, and pandemic hasn't helped, and things like that. But you got to give them props for trying. Quick sidebar, as far as women in AEW go. Yes or no, do you think AEW lands Tessa Blanchard?
I hope they don't.
Why?
Because she's a horrible person.
Okay, that's fair.
If they want to, I would imagine they probably could. Her dad works there.
True. This is true. Yeah.
I mean, if she's looking for and this is coming from, I got the belt behind me, I got the hat on. This is coming from a 100% AEW apologist. If she wants to go to the better women's division, she's going to go to WWE. And I hope she does.
Okay. Fair enough. Moving on to number 8. And you said you had a match from a Dynamite in February. I wonder if this might be the match. Probably and if this is the match, I'm going to seriously question whether or not you looked up this WrestleTalk video that I'm talking about. Because the number 8 match is from February 26th, and it's the 30-minute Iron Man match between Pac and Kenny Omega.
That's my number 9 match.
Okay.
That's the one I thought you were about to give me at number 9 when you said February.
Okay. And I kind of want to talk about number 8 and number 7 together because I want to highlight the common denominator in both number 8 and number 7. Because the number 7 match also involves Pac. It's his match with Orange Cassidy at Revolution.
Another one that I thought of and did not put on my list.
Okay. I want to give some shine to Pac here. Because you cannot find 2 more diametrically opposed wrestling matches, I think, if you tried.
Oh, that's for sure.
These 2 matches, folks, if you don't know, happen within a week of each other. And the fact that you have a brutal Iron Man match that went to sudden death, and then you turn around and have to wrestle a guy with the skill set, we'll say, of an Orange Cassidy, shows you what a valuable I don't want to even use the word utility player because that would be like a slap in the face almost. But Pac can do whatever you need him to do, and it also shines a light on how his absence recently, how much he's sorely missed.
I agree.
Your thoughts?
I agree 100%. Pac is 100% missed on Dynamite, especially with the recent return of the Lucha Brothers, whose match next Wednesday is going to be off the frickin' charts good. And they're forming of the Death Triangle a little bit before the pandemic shut the entire world down and locked him in Europe. He's very sorely missed. I was guilty of holding a little bit of a grudge towards him when he had the whole runaround with the AEW when it first started, when it looked like he was going to sign and then didn't, and then you know they had the whole runaround with Pac. I was one of the people who did hold a little bit of a grudge towards him for that. I've gotten more information. on what actually happened in that situation. I was the one in the wrong. There should have been no grudge on my part. I publicly apologized to Pac for the anger that I held towards him, and I put him in very high standing within AEW. I think he is right now a main event player.
I don't think I ever appreciated his skill set when he was in WWE. Because I didn't watch 205 Live that much. I didn't pay attention to the cruiserweights that much, but this guy he can do anything you need him to do in the ring, and it's smooth. It's almost effortless, you know. And for a guy as built as he is for his size, I mean, every move he makes packs a punch.
There's a match. Remember, he was supposed to have that match with the match I'm talking about. He was supposed to have the match with Hangman, and then he pulled out.
Yes.
They ended up having that match at an indie promotion in England, Hangman versus Pac. It was Pac at the time. Hangman versus Pac. And if that had been an AEW match, I feel like it would be on this list, but it wasn't.
Yeah. And before we move on with number 6, I want to take a moment to talk about Orange Cassidy. I was in the lead up to this show this week, I was explaining to the Lovebird what we were going to do with this list. And the Pac versus Orange Cassidy match in Revolution was one of the last ones I watched. And she goes, "Who's Orange Cassidy?" And I said, "Well, honey, I know it's too late in the evening for me to show it to you, but I'll explain to you what he does." And I got up from the dining room table and walked into the living room and kind of did his shtick a little bit. And she goes, "So he wrestles like that?" I said, "Yes." And what's amazing about it is at first I thought, okay, this is dumb. This is stupid. But when you watch a match, you need a lot of core strength to be able to pull off some of the things that he does. And then what Cassidy basically does as a wrestler is rock you to sleep. You know, thinking,
which
okay,
he has really done in a match on the Indies.
Yes. which is why it was so shocking to me when I was watching this match. And when he kicked it into that next gear, I was like, "Oh, really?" now we're getting down to it. And what I think the beauty of this match is, Pac had to be in on it.
Right.
Pac understands, yes, I can be this, pissed off guy, but I also understand that it's my job to help Orange Cassidy get over. So I will sell the little taps to the shin guards, and I will let the crowd, go along for, whatever they want to do, because that's part of the gimmick. And that's what people have been doing in wrestling for decades, is you find a gimmick that works, and it's a dance with these two guys in the ring or gals in the ring or whomever. It's
all about getting over, and Orange Cassidy has gotten over more than almost anybody. One thing that I will say is we are talking about a company that has guys like Cody, has guys like Matt and Nick the Young Bucks, has guys like Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, John Moxley, Hangman Page. The list goes on. I could sit here and list guys forever that AEW has. I went on the Pro Wrestling Tees website today because I find myself there once, about every day. And I went and looked at the monthly top sellers list.
Oh, dear.
And 4 of the top 5 shirts are Orange Cassidy. That's really all you need to say.
At first I was dismissive of the guy. I'm like, okay, what is he doing here? And I thought, at first I was like, oh my God, he's insulting the business. And now I see, no, he's really not. Because when he wants to, he's got chops in the ring. And he's found a way to carve out a niche for himself. And what do all good wrestlers do? They find a space to occupy, doing whatever they do, and and he's another one of these guys where you don't see him wrestle that often. It's kind of like MJF in a way. You don't see him in the ring that often, so when you do see it, it feels fresh. And that's why I was like, holy crap.
For sure. And
I never saw that coming.
I have a little bit of I guess you could call it a bold prediction, but maybe it's not that bold. If this list had been created next Thursday, Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho from next Wednesday that'll probably be, that match will probably be really, really good.
I can't wait to see what those two guys do.
That match is probably going to be really, really good. It's really hard in this climate of professional wrestling, when it's been around for so long, to find a thing that nobody's ever done before. And being the king of sloth style is something nobody has ever done before.
When I said that to her, the Lovebird said, does that mean he just does everything like really at a snail's pace? I'm like, yeah, basically, until he kicks it into it, until he finds that extra gear. And then you're like, whoa, hold on a second. Number 6 on WrestleTalk's list is the Full Gear AEW Championship match between Cody and Chris Jericho.
That is also number 6 on my list.
My name's RJ, and I make lists.
We've only done 5, and I didn't get 2 of them. So
I know.
I've only match and number twice.
That's fine. I mean, and in a way, you might say it's easy for the cream to rise to the top on this list here because the sample size is small. It's different if we're talking about, the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time, because there's 36 of them to sift through. Maybe the degree of difficulty here isn't as high as I was thinking it might be. But your thoughts on how well Cody and Chris work together?
Oh, it was like butter. They were fantastic. Jericho and Cody have known each other for a very long time, so you would expect that it would be a pretty easy match for them to put together and execute. Still, the execution of two guys the caliber of Chris Jericho and Cody, with the whole thing, it's become cliche now, but at the time it was a big deal. If Cody doesn't win, he never gets a shot at the AEW championship again, and they played that really, really well. It's become like I said, it's become a running joke now. Well, I guess not
now. Our show.
Now that he's not so much the TNT champion, or now that he's, not so much now that he has a belt that he defends every week. But before that, it was a broken record that Cody can't challenge for the AEW world title. And this is the match that made that so. And it was really hard in a world where wrestling predictions are very easy sometimes. This match was tough to call.
Yeah. And the heartbreak was palpable. I mean, there was, call it, how much of it's a work and how much of it's selling and how much, but there was, I felt like there was some legitimate hurt feelings, at the end of the match when it went down the way it did, and the realization sank in, well, I got to find another path now. And that's what I would have liked to see Cody do. I would have liked to have seen him go off on like a year-plus long path to try just to find a way by hook or by crook back to maybe challenging for it again, whatever that looks like. I know you're saying, well, Brian, he said that if he lost this match, I know that, but you can find a path, but it can't just be, okay, next week I'm going to challenge you for it again, but maybe you just find a soul-searching path or something. Number 5 on this list is a match that I didn't need to watch again, but I did, because it was in serious discussions for the Match of the Year candidates last year in the year-end edition of Wrestling with Egos, from the November 20th, 2019 episode of Dynamite, Nick Jackson versus Rey Fenix, one-on-one.
Not on my list.
Bonkers, ladies and gentlemen.
That match was absolutely good. Not on my list, though. It was phenomenal.
Okay, this episode's over. It's not on your list. I love this match. Love this match. Because it taught me, and something else you probably already know too, it taught me what Nick can do by himself. And it also showed me what Rey Fenix can do by himself. Because I still tend to think of them as a tag team unit. I think of Nick and Matt together, and I think of Rey and Pentagon. Sorry, 1,000 apologies. Together. But when you get them by themselves, no seconds, no run-ins, no nothing, just okay, we're gonna have a match together. It was poetry. It was pure, unadulterated poetry.
No doubt. It was everything that I expected that it would be, and I feel like it was a major American coming out party for Rey Fenix. He is one of the, and this is a big thing to say, like, this is a pedestal to put a guy on. He's one of the best high flyers that AAA has ever seen. And for him to be able to take that and show it to an American audience on national television, I feel like Nick Jackson was probably the perfect person for him to do that.
Because we know there's not a risk he won't take, but it was really an eye opener for me to see what Rey Fenix was able to do. Like anytime I see either one of those two in a match, there's another match that we're going to talk about in a minute that Rey Fenix is part of that's like even more bonkers than this one. But it's and I think it says something too about AEW that a lot of these matches don't happen at pay-per-views. They're putting great quality matches, 5-star-esque matches on weekly television.
Yeah.
That's wonderful to me. I mean, I know it's wonderful for you because you don't have to wait a month and a half to see a great match.
Right.
What a concept, Moving on to number 4. Number 4. I was watching this match the other night, and I was messaging my 2 esteemed co-hosts about this match.
Okay.
My God in heaven, the lights out match at Full Gear between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega.
That is number 3 on my
list. The broken glass got me. Like, and the moves they were doing in the glass and the crawling through the glass to get to the, for a rope break that can't happen because it's an unsanctioned match.
Crawling through the glass was unbelievable.
It's like, how much more escalation can we have? And this was just brutal. I mean, and you even saw, like, when Omega made the rest of the Elite wheel out the barbed wire contraption, the Bucks and Paige had the looks on their faces like, we don't want to be a part of this. And yet here we are. I mean, it was just sickening. But as I understand it, that's Jon Moxley's calling card before he was in WWE, as I understand it, the King of the Death match.
Yeah. CZW, Combat Zone Wrestling, is where he perfected his deathmatch skills as a young Jon Moxley. That's what he always did before he was Dean Ambrose. But as somebody who has been a Kenny Omega fan for a lot of years, he has been my favorite wrestler for numerous years, a very, very long time. Kenny's been my favorite wrestler. This was the first time that I have ever seen that side of Kenny. Like, he's done some things before, like the match at Wrestle Kingdom with Jericho, Alpha versus Omega was that was a pretty hardcore match. But to get that much, I've never seen Kenny do anything like that before, and I was more enthralled. I did not put this number 1 on my list. Like I said, it's number 3 on my list, but I was more enthralled in this match than I've been maybe in any wrestling match ever, just because I had never seen Kenny do anything like some of the things that he was doing. Another thing that needs to be mentioned is that the Maryland Athletic Commission fined AEW $10,000 for this match.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though they went through the lights out business and said it was unsanctioned, and
because it is in Maryland. This match happened in Baltimore, obviously.
Yes.
In Maryland, it is against the rules of the Maryland Athletic Commission to make yourself bleed. And both gentlemen made themselves bleed in this match, and AEW got fined $10,000.
Interesting. Okay. Number 3 on this list from All Out, the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros.
Escalera de la Muerte.
Yes.
That
this
is number
match,
4 on my list. So I have 3 and 4 flip-flop.
This was one of the first ones from the list I sought out because of how much I enjoy watching these two tag teams, and it was everything I thought it was, and then some. I mean, some of the spots from this match and just their creativity, their innovation, their willingness to try, just knows no bounds. I would love to see them in a best of 7 series.
Oh, man.
I mean, best of 11 series if you want. We could go best of 19. It's fine.
33.
Sure. Quick sidebar question for you about the Bucks. How many promotions have they been in besides AEW, New Japan, and Ring of Honor? Because I feel like I've seen them in other.
If you count the indies, a bunch, but their home promotion was always PWG, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, in California.
Okay.
They actually lost the tag team championships to Candice LeRae and a woman molester in PWG.
Okay.
Hashtag cancel Joey Ryan.
Hashtag understood. Okay. Because I actually saw a top 10 list this morning, or a top 7 list from Honor Club that was on YouTube of the top 7 most shocking moments in Ring of Honor, and they figured prominently in 2 of them.
Was one of them Nick Jackson running across some ladders and jumping off?
No, well, they both had to do with Adam Cole coming into the Bullet Club and Adam Cole being dumped from Bullet Club. Yeah, I'm like, they were there too? I'm like, where weren't they? But, you know. So number 2 on this list from Double or Nothing. Got 3 words for it. Number 2, Cody versus Dustin.
Number freaking 2?
Number 2.
This list is a possibility.
This is
that
number 2.
Number 1 on my list, and I am shocked, appalled, and disgusted that it is not number 1 on this list.
Okay. I don't work for WrestleTalk, so stand down.
What?
I don't. I can show you my paycheck. I don't work
my only hope is that I have 1 and 2 flipped, just like I had 3 and 4 flipped. Or, oh my gosh.
You probably do. But, I mean, because there's really only one logical conclusion about what number 1 could be on their list. But anyway, what makes you think, why are you, I think I know what you're going to say. Why are you so passionate about Cody versus Dustin needing to be number 1?
The storytelling in that match is second to none. The emotion felt from the opening bell through the final bell to after that to the I don't need a partner, I don't need a friend, I need my older brother, the hug and the crying and the everything from even if you want to count the entrances, even the entrance, Cody's Thronebreaker entrance, off the charts. Like, this match from the beginning, oh my gosh, from the moment that somebody's music hits to the from them leaving the ring and standing at the top of the stage together, everything about this match made you feel. And if pro wrestling isn't supposed to make you feel, what the hell is it supposed to do?
Can somebody get RJ like a glass of maybe water or something. He's amped up. If you just maybe a pitcher. Just give him a pitcher and a couple of glasses, and he'll be fine. I completely echo what you're saying. I mean, and think about everything that was at stake here. This is the main event of your first pay-per-view as a promotion. You want to make a statement, and everything that both guys did, especially the things that Cody did, was making a statement. We are going to be something different. We're not going to be your cookie cutter, wrestling promotion. And you're right. We're going to make you feel. I mean, the moments. I mean, we can all disagree about what those moments are, but the best moments in wrestling for me are the ones where they make me feel something.
For sure.
No
doubt.
During the Attitude Era, whenever The Rock would lose to whomever, I mean, and I got angry. And that's what was supposed to happen because that's my guy and you beat him. You cheated to beat him, or you beat him clean, or it didn't matter how you beat him, but you beat my guy and I'm pissed about it. So now with Finn Balor, you beat Finn Balor, I'm pissed about it. And the list goes on and on.
Do you happen to know anybody that might have been in the third row for this match?
Yeah, I do.
You do.
We don't talk about him that much around here because he rubs it in my face every chance he gets. And I'm sure that because you mentioned that now, the editor-in-chief, who's not here tonight, is going to find a way to intersplice some footage, probably in a 5-second gap or something like that. And I don't know why we keep bringing it up, but here we are on a wrestling show, bringing up the fact that you were there.
I am digging a little bit because we do that, but that is my way of bringing up that I was there and that the emotion. I might be a little biased putting this match at number 1 because the emotion in that building, I've never felt anything like that in my life.
You said how palpable it was. Like you all felt like you were in on a great experience because of we're all here because we believe in what they're trying to do.
It was the Cody and Dustin WrestleMania match they always wanted that Vince wouldn't let them have. And you could feel that they both felt that. And it was the emotion in that building was unbelievable. And like I said, I might be a little biased being so disgusted that this isn't at number 1. But it's second to none to me in AEW.
Okay. So what match do you think I haven't said yet?
What?
What match do you think is number 1 on this list?
Well, there's a bunch on here that I have listed. Well, there's a few that I have listed that you haven't said.
Because I'll come back and get the rest of your list in a minute, but we'll.
I don't know.
Okay. I'll give you a hint. It's the second match on this list from Revolution.
Okay, then it's the match. Then I do have number 1 and number 2 flip.
So the number 1 match on WrestleTalk's list is the second match on the list from the Revolution pay-per-view, and it involves Kenny Omega and Hangman Page squaring off against the Young Bucks for the AEW Tag Team Championships.
Number 2 on my list.
Number 2 on your list. RJ, why do you think you talked about storytelling with Cody and Dustin? It's a different side of the same coin with this match because of all the storytelling that happened here. Why don't you expound on that a little bit?
There is a group of pro wrestling Twitter that only refers to this as that tag match because we all know what you're talking about when you say that. When you're talking about AEW and you say that tag match, it is 100%. It is this one. Again, the emotion off the charts, the storytelling off the charts. This is not met negatively in any way. This match was the AEW version of the Young Bucks versus the Golden Lovers in New Japan. The Young Bucks versus Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, when the Bucks and Kenny were kind of button heads, when the Bullet Club is fine era. when Cody was trying to take over as the leader of Bullet Club and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The Young Bucks had a match against the Golden Lovers, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi, which is the greatest tag team match that I've ever seen in my life. And I don't want to call this match a retread of that because it's not. It's the matches themselves are much different, but the emotion is very similar. It's
It
guys
harkens back to it.
obviously care so much about each other, but are, due to circumstances, being forced to compete against each other. And it kind of got personal leading up to the match. And there was a little bit of, is Hangman going to turn on Kenny? Is Hangman going to turn on the entirety of the Elite? Is the Elite going to turn on Hangman? There was so much uncertainty, I guess, coming into this match, that just every moment felt edge of your seat emotion. What's going to happen next? And there was, on top of there being so much unbelievably good professional wrestling happening in the ring with 4 of the best wrestlers on planet Earth right now. I would put this as the second best tag match I've ever seen in my life after that one. This match, I could go on forever. There's just this match, as much as I love Kenny and the Young Bucks, a lot of Hangman's character work is what makes this match this match.
Oh, yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, that storyline's still going on, right?
For sure, yeah,
Hangman's
absolutely.
still kind of twisting in the wind a little bit.
Yeah, and at Fyter Fest just this past Wednesday, spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't seen it, do you mind the spoiler alert?
Go ahead. I will cue it up at some point. I just have not had a chance.
In the main event of Fyter Fest this past Wednesday, Kenny Omega and Hangman Page defended the AEW tag titles against Best Friends. Without getting into too many details about the ending of that match, FTR, who was at ringside in beach chairs drinking beer, get in the ring with Kenny and Hangman, and emotions happen, and there is no turning on anybody. Nobody turns on anybody, but the end result is Kenny and the Young Bucks on one side having a shouting match with Hangman and FTR on the other side.
Well, I'm going to have to cue that up.
They just keep adding layers to this. Like, this has been happening.
Yeah, getting FTR involved is a whole new...
Absolutely.
Further complicating everything.
This has been happening almost as long as AEW has been a thing.
Yeah.
And it's getting Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho-y.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is this the moment where Hangman's going to turn on Kenny? Oh, no, this isn't it. Is this the match where Hangman's going to turn on Kenny? Oh, no, this isn't it. But at the same time, it's different because those guys were constantly best friends the entire time, where Hangman and Kenny keeps saying, we're best friends, look at us, we're buddies. And Hangman's like, I don't know if we're best friends. Like,
and then, oh, look, that guy's got a beer for me.
Right. He keeps finding himself on the other side.
Yeah.
Whenever the Elite is involved with somebody else, Hangman keeps finding himself on the other side. And this particular tag match between Kenny and Hangman and the Young Bucks was a launching point for this becoming as amazing as it has been to this point.
Agreed.
I look up at the poster hanging on my dining room wall, and it's got all the members of the Elite, and Hangman and Kenny are next to each other, and the Young Bucks are next to each other. And it's just, it seems like Hangman and somebody else, even leading to before AEW in New Japan and Ring of Honor, Hangman and somebody else, he's never completely seen eye to eye with all of the guys in the Elite. And this match drove that home. And every week they continue to expound on it and drive it home even more.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's the long game that we always wanted.
Absolutely.
So if my calculations are correct, 7 of these matches you actually had on your list. I'm curious to get, we need your number 8. We need your number 7, and we need your number 5.
We do. So I'll go run down real fast. 10 was Cody and Darby Allin. 9 was Kenny and Pac Iron Man match. 8 it took place at All Out and is the first ever All Elite Wrestling World Championship match between Chris Jericho and Hangman Page. I think that match flies under the radar and does not get talked about enough.
Okay.
Hangman Page showed everything that he is and can be in his one-on-one match with the guy I consider the GOAT, Chris Jericho. Go watch it. Match was amazing. So that's my number 8. My number 7 is a match that led to that match. Again, everybody that all our Wrestling with Egos faithful know, if RJ is anything, he is a mark for Kenny Omega. My number 7 match happened at Double or Nothing that I was at. It was the main event. Jon Moxley came out after it. It is Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho. The winner moves on to get a shot at being the first ever AEW champion. Again, this might be a little biased for me because Kenny was in this match and I enjoy the way that Kenny Omega wrestles. I enjoy the way that he puts together emotions and storytelling in matches. And as a huge Kenny fan, this had me on the edge of my seat. Is Kenny Omega going to get a shot to be the first AEW World Champion or not? And then I left the show pretty mad at Jon Moxley. So that's my number 7. My number 6 was Jericho and Cody from Full Gear. My number 5, I don't know when this list was made, but if you're asking me when is the 1-year anniversary of All Elite Wrestling, I'm going to tell you it was Double or Nothing 2 is the 1-year anniversary.
Okay.
And in my mind, matches on that show count into the full year. And number 5 on my list was the Stadium Stampede. For pure entertainment value alone, as a wrestling match, Riho and Nyla, and especially Pac and Orange and Nick and Phoenix were better wrestling matches than the Stadium Stampede was. But for pure entertainment value, as much as I loved it, I felt like that match had to be on the list. And then 4 for me was Escalera de la Muerte. 3 was Kenny and Moxley. Number 2 was that tag match. And number 1 is Cody and Dustin.
Well, I dare say that this was a well thought out exercise, and
very fun. Absolutely.
And I think your insights into that match or into those matches. We will post this list along with RJ's additions to the list on the Wrestling with Egos website, which is bit.ly/with egos, so that you all out there in Wrestling with Egos land can go and check it out. You can always reach out to us on Twitter. I am at bkrigo15. Your boy RJ is at RJEman with 2 N's at the end. And Patrick can be reached at rantmodeon. You can also email the show, wrestlingwithegos@gmail.com. If you want to give us an idea for content, you want to react to a list that we've put out, a Mount Rushmore that we've put out, a homework assignment that we've given out. One of these days, we're going to talk about Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker from WrestleMania 25. We will do it, but we'll wait to do that when all 3 of us are back in the saddle, as it were. RJ, what are you excited about for the second night of Fyter Fest that is coming up this week?
My number one is probably Orange and Jericho, because I'm so intrigued by it. I don't necessarily think it's going to be the best match on the show, but I'm very intrigued by how they tell that story, because Jericho is not going to play along the way that Pac played along with those shin kicks and all that other stuff. He's made it perfectly clear on Dynamite that he has no plans whatsoever to play along with Orange Cassidy's shtick. The best match on the show, I think, is going to be FTR and the Young Bucks versus Butcher and Blade and the Lucha Brothers.
Wow. That's a lot of diverse personalities trying to get along there.
Going to be a wonderful 8-man tag.
Sweet. Well, for Patrick, who is not here tonight, and for my bro RJ over there in panel 2, we want to thank everybody in Wrestling with Egos Land for supporting us. We want to thank you for your patronage of our YouTube videos. Please feel free to get in touch with us for a show idea or a reaction or a take. And until next time, we want you to have a great 4th of July weekend. There's the AEW title in full throat over RJ's head. And there's some great wrestling happening out there, folks. Even though we can't watch it in person, still check it out on YouTube. Check it out on the WWE Network. Check it out on BR Live. Check out New Japan, because they're getting back up in gear. So until we, yes, final thoughts, RJ. I'm sorry.
The New Japan Cup final is July 11th, and Dominion is July 12th. Check it out; it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, so we're gearing back up slowly but surely. We're trying to do it safely, but we are gearing back up. So until next time we come to you, we want to say thank you, and that's our story, and we're sticking to it.